Zaid, the one who overcame the trials and received the true blessing of Al. He wields the enormous dual glaives as if it was light as a feather to purge his enemies. By the authority of the sands, he absorbs the enemy's power and unleashes it to make his foes tremble in its wake. This is the preview of Black Desert Mobile's new class, Zaid. Dune Slash is a skill where Zaid pierces and cuts the sand. The target suffers knockback on the first hit and knockdown on the last hit. Zaid pierces the ground with his dual glaives to summon a sand serpent to attack enemies. Super armor is applied during this skill. Enemies suffer daze on the first hit and knockback on the last hit. Serpent Strike is a skill where Zaid slashes his enemies with his dual glaives. Forward guard is applied during this skill. The target suffers knockback on the first hit and knock up on the last hit. You can toggle the skill enhancement to switch between forward guard and super armor. Zaid leaps into the air and strikes enemies down with his dual glaives, dealing immense damage to nearby enemies. Super armor is applied during the skill, and Zaid cannot be grabbed while in the air. Enemies suffer knock-up on the first hit and bound on the last hit. Sand Nova is a skill where Zaid leaps through space and reappears with a burst of sand. Super armor is applied during the skill, and Zaid cannot be grabbed while in stealth. Enemies suffer stun on the first hit and daze on the last hit. Holding down the skill button will allow him to perform an additional attack. Ensnaring Sand sees Zaid create quicksand that enemies cannot escape from. Super armor is applied during this skill. The enemy suffers knock-up on the first hit and knockdown on the last hit. Paradise Surge is a skill where Zaid instantly approaches enemies to attack. Invincibility is applied during the skill, and super armor is applied while attacking. The target suffers daze on the first hit. Constriction summons a serpent to blind enemies so there's no room for escape. Super armor is applied during the skill, and the enemy suffers bound on grab. If the grab is successful, PvP damage taken is decreased for a set time. Serpent Spoil is a skill where Zaid rapidly spins his dual glaives to damage enemies. Enemies suffer knockback on the first hit and knockdown on the last hit. Sand Narrow is a skill in which Zaid relentlessly attacks his foes with his dual glaives. Enemies suffer bound on hit. Zaid receives Al's Grace as a Mystery of Al. During this skill, Zaid's HP regenerates, his AP increases, and his evasion cooldown decreases. Zaid subdued the serpent form shadows of Hadum and gained immense power from the sands, making his foes tremble. He gains the Black Snake status along with special effects for a set time upon using 2 skills. Meet the true power of the sands that overcame the trials of contempt in Black Desert Mobile. This was the preview for the new class, Zaid.